Yeah, anyway, with that being said, let's get into the series and let's get this started. It's the Dallas Fuel versus the Chengdu Hunters. And I have been so excited for this match, Josh. This is the one that I was really looking forward to because of what I've already been setting up. You know, North America, you know, Dallas have been this team that they don't really play the meta that much. They've been doing their own thing, and mainly because they haven't had the long-range hit scan player. Xe ended up retiring before the league started, so they haven't had access to the necessary components to play the meta comps. And they've been adapting, and they're going up against the team that has been known for adapting and playing their own strengths for years. And these teams are clashing now in front of us in the main melee.
It's such a fantastic matchup here. And almost there's this feeling that I get that Dallas Fuel, if they had had access to Xe, might have just tried to play more meta stuff and wouldn't be the team that they are now and might not be in the position that they're in now. A quick reminder for anybody who's mainly just an APAC fan perhaps, you're a Chengdu Hunters fan, you're coming into this game, you're like, yeah, we're looking great, of course we're going to beat Dallas. Dallas have never been good. This team just stomped North America. They took arguably the harder side of the bracket with both the San Francisco Shock and the Houston Outlaws, and they just stomped them into the dirt, playing mostly the Reinhardt Symmetra stuff with Sparkle on Sim and Fearless on the Rhine. And my God, how good did that look?
Yeah, I mean, it was absurd. I think Fearless has been showcasing, you know, the kind of impact that he brings to this roster overall. But I've said it every time I cast a Dallas Fuel match, but I am so impressed by how they work towards their strengths and make it work within the meta compositions. Definitely. And it always throws teams for a loop. And the big question mark has been for me coming into this is how are the Chengdu Hunters going to be reacting to this? How are they going to be playing into this as well? Because not only do you get the clash of styles, you get two teams that honestly don't really like to play the meta as hard. I mean, Chengdu have actually kind of grown out of that a little bit. As you can see, they picked up a ton of new players from one year to the next. This is my first time casting Chengdu, but some of the names here, if you guys have been watching APAC, you're going to know them already. Gaga has been phenomenal across the board, and this backline of Monk and Nisha as well has been sublime.
It really has. This team has grown into a bit of a Chinese super team, to be honest. They have Gaga, who's looking like the best main tank in APAC, in my opinion. He's much more well-rounded than previous Chengdu Hunters main tanks have been. Probably the best, but actually, I'm not even going to say probably, Brent. He is the best ball player in the league, and he's also got extremely good Winston gameplay to add to that. And they've looked weaker when it comes to the rush, but they've been able to work around it by playing a mixture of the poke compositions and the dive compositions as well. I want to focus though on the DPS here just for a moment, because that hit scan hole is so obvious in the Dallas Fuel's core that it has led a lot of analysts, and the desk was talking about it, to say, well, what happens if Jinmu just plays Pharah here? What happens if Jinmu plays Pharah? How do they deal with that? Absolutely, and I think that's going to define a lot throughout this series. If Chengdu can take them to good Pharah maps and Dallas can take them to good rush maps, again, we're going to have another series where the map pool is so crucial.
And the pool will be the first map we're heading to, but Jinmu in the starting lineup, alongside Gaga as well. These guys, I think, are going to be setting up as well. They've got something cooked up here in anticipation for what Dallas might be chucking at them. And it's going to be interesting as well to see how it really plays out, I think. And I'm anticipating, I'm secretly hoping for chaos just in this series as it stands. But I do firmly believe that what we last saw from Dallas, at least, I was so impressed by the way that they just essentially dominated arguably the harder side of the knockouts and rolled all the way through. It was really showcasing to me, I think, that Dallas is a team that, you know, despite their shortcomings in terms of the comps that they could play, they play at a pace that is, you really only see with the top teams, the very, very top teams. And when I say that, I mean really like the best teams in the world. And you're going up against Chengdu, which is a team that does also look like the best in APAC. So this is a really interesting clash of styles. Now, we are waiting for Dallas to get into the action. I believe they're having a couple of difficulties. So that's what we're currently waiting on, if you're wondering exactly what's going on. And yeah, this game will be starting momentarily, I assure you of that.
Let me take a moment then to step into, again, the main tank matchup, We have Fearless against Gaga here, which in my opinion, which not everybody shares, but in my opinion, it's the best main tank in North America, Fearless, against the best main tank in APAC. They play different things though. Gaga is such an incredible ball, Fearless an incredible Reinhardt, and they both are excellent on Winston, though I would probably give the edge to Fearless there as well. But we're not just talking about two great main tanks, we're talking about two great main tanks who used to play together on the same team. Fearless is the protagonist of the Overwatch League. He played on the Norton 40 Shanghai Dragons, then he took a stint in Contenders before rejoining the Overwatch League. While he was in Contenders, Brent, he played for a team called Team CC in China, and Gaga was his understudy, his protege, who was learning from him and eventually took the mantle. And it was with Team CC that Gaga most recently won the title in the gauntlet of the best team in Contenders. That is an awesome storyline heading in here. The Battle of the Main Tanks is just going to be phenomenal to watch.
5, 4,
Absolutely.
3,
The vet and the rookie here,
1.
in some sense.
Capture the
And the
objective.
teams are getting ready to go. As you can see, rolling out, and Jinmu is going to be playing the Pharah. It's one of the questions that we had. Dallas opting for this kind of rush Winston composition that they've been teasing. We've seen a couple of teams run it. A lot of it's going to be around the Sombra play in this series. You can see Leave versus Doha is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, Doha has been great on Sombra in the past. The Dallas Fuels comp, it wants to play much faster. They want to try and get value before Jinmu can get in. There's
Big
a
hack.
Gorgeously played by Doha, but he does fall.
They try and follow up on this. Doha going down is a dangerous situation. And Dallas are going to be flipping this point over, but they didn't deny the res from Gaga. So Gaga's back in the fight pretty quickly here. And the rock is being laid down by Jinmu. He's going to try and punish the Dallas Fuel for trying to essentially play aggressively into this backline. Gaga booped away. Jix are finding that early kill. It's helped them out tremendously now. And only a couple of players left remaining. Hambin, though, will fall as Jinmu's just putting in a couple of stray rockets at the tail end of the team fight. And Chengdu, despite the fact that Doha ended up dying, Doha does have a bit of an EMP advantage, and Chengdu are making some big swaps now.
Yeah, both main tanks actually got booped off the side too. Gaga booped Fearless, and then Jexir booped Gaga off the side. So both main tanks fell in that engagement from environmental kills. And Chengdu are making big swaps here. Dallas Fuel's composition tries to play hard and fast before the Pharah can get value. It pushes past the Pharah. So Chengdu have gone for a really tanky look. How are Dallas going to adapt to this? They need to use ultimates to break through the sheer girth of the Chengdu comp.
Okay, the choke point's getting locked up here. The mines come down as well. Coalescence to lead it in. Should be the team fight win here. Indeed it is. Dallas Fuel have way too much damage, just overwhelming through the choke point. And I just really point out as well, I think, on Chengdu Hunters DPS line, in fact, as well, because the Torbjorn and McCree being ran, this is a pain to play in if you're a Tracer player. It becomes so difficult to try and get the value. It's really shutting down not only Sparker, but also Doha as well, who's trying to build up the EMP charge.
But the thing is, Dallas have already got their fuels online, their ults online, Brent. And that is going to fuel them in this fight. And EMP can just wipe out Chengdu in one go.
EMP comes through, and look at that, that's a 6-man. Dallas Fuel looking beautiful right now. They let it in with the sound barrier as well. There was nothing really to stop them here. The Primal Rage used by Fearless because he knows this is the final fight. You might as well throw it out there, get some value. The D-Mech almost available on Elsels. It's going to be grabbing the health back. Going to be healed back up now, trying to come back into this one, but unable to contest it. The Dallas Fuel 100-0.
This is wonderful play coming out from Dallas. And not just in terms of their execution, Brent, but in terms of, again, finding a composition that nullifies their inability to play long-range hit scan. By playing this comp with the Moira, the Lucio, and then the Sombra and Tracer, you play so hard and fast that Chengdu's compositions, which are designed to take long engagements with the Pharah, with the ball, the poke kind of comps, you just run straight past them and kill them. It's just, what was Jaws calling it, a WM1 comp? Oh,
yes,
wow.
Yeah. And then I
getting caught by that.
I scolded him for not thinking about the console players.
Sure, yeah, it's the forward stick and right trigger comp. That's, yeah, I've already heard that discussion. But they're playing it again, and this is going to make it so difficult for Jinmu to get value. Unless Leave can find big hacks and Chengdu can perfectly kite, it's going to be really difficult here for Chengdu again.
Okay, Monk ends up going down there. I don't know if that was a one clip, but regardless, the damage was being pumped in by Jinmu, and it does set up for the kill onto Fielder. Fielder either hacked or didn't have access to the fadeaway. The point's still going to be contesting, but that's just going to be Elsa just trying to trade out here. He's also got D-Max pretty early on into this fight, and the pace is a huge component, what you were really iterating, Josh, as well, in terms of how it kind of plays against the way that Dallas or that Chengdu want to play, taking these long fights. Jinmu, though, has put in enough consistent damage. I don't really know. He ends up falling in the end, though, and his barrage could be massive. A lot of early damage being built up by Jinmu. Doesn't actually convert it into any picks. He's still hunting for a couple of these kills. Eventually going to get hacked, but the point flips over to Chengdu.
And this, okay. Ultimate used there as well from Sparkle. That's a little bit weird. But this point on Nepal Village is really interesting. We often see these kind of comps or these tempos play out. Often you'll get a Pharah comp against a rush comp. Dallas's comp isn't quite rush, but it's kind of a mixture of rush and dive. And so, even though Dallas are able to take the point very early on and find early picks, if Chengdu just plays slowly and Dallas gets stuck on the point, they end up getting caught. This battle, though, is all about the EMPs. And there we go, Fielder and Fearless caught so early.
Doa was waiting for the counter EMP. The Sleep Dart's going to catch him here. I don't know if they have enough damage to win this fight out, but Chengdu were locked up. A lot of damage being outputted now. You can see the nano boost onto Elsa just to keep him up, and deterring away the rest of the Dallas fuel when they try and win out this team fight. They're going to be backing off immediately here. A good disengage, a clean disengage from Dallas, but Chengdu ultimately still in charge of this point.
And that EMP is so crucial from Leave. He has been finding really good manual hacks as well. Not all of them are able to be followed up on, but he's still playing it superbly. And that EMP catches Dallas before they can flip the point over. So now Chengdu are at a massive advantage. They're in a great position right now to win the round, even if they lose this team fight.
A lot of damage. Gaga hacked up. That's going to be taking him out. Wasn't able to get out in time. Now the engagement from Fearless is going to be keeping himself in the bubble, so he's avoiding the sleep dart. He plays it beautifully. Fielder is the one who actually gets the final blow in the end. But Fearless now just holding on to this Primal Rage. Jinmu with a last-ditch effort here. Now the Primal Rage comes out. Surely not Fearless.
No way.
Might be about to be witnessing something crazy. He's going to be disjointing them, pushing them out. Jinmu's like, get away from me. He's chasing me down in the Primal Rage. But it's not going to be enough. You cannot escape him. Fearless eventually chasing him down, and that will mean the Dallas Fuel, okay, they win out this team fight. But Chengdu, as you were saying previously, Josh, they've set themselves up now for a beautiful team fight or round win. One team fight is essentially what they've got to take, and they have the EMP to do it.
Yeah, as great as that team fight was for Dallas, Leave can come in and respond immediately. He uses his translocator there to be able to get out, and he's just watching the positioning. Fearless slept, and they almost flipped the point over. Oh. Sparkle dies to Mines trying to contest
Solo EMP.
there.
Solo EMP onto Fearless. And they flip the point over. They're going to be winning this team fight regardless.
Fantastic hack.
It's going to be the neutral hack. And yeah, Jexa just cannot go anywhere. Eventually going to get jumped down. And the synergy right now from Gaga and Leave as well in terms of prioritizing a lot of these hack targets. You can see how powerful it is. 97% for this round. Dallas are going to be looking to touch this. They're going to get the overtime going. But can they keep hold of this team fight? Doha going down. He doesn't have the EMP, Josh.
That is a crucial pick to start things off. And Dallas, they are so split and uncoordinated. They don't have a good target. They take down Monk, though, right before the nano boost comes online.
See, spraying down. Leave is just trying to collect onto a lot of this damage that they're putting out here. The D-Mech comes through, the power driver into the corner. EMP from Dallas, a last-ditch effort, but it's not going to be enough. They don't have the bodies for the point. And the Chengdu Hunters going to be equalizing it out now. One round apiece. And we're going to the final round here for map number 1 between these two teams. It's already living up to the expectations that I was setting.
Yeah, pretty clean battles so far. Dallas on the map that favors them, or rather the stage that favored them on Shrine, they're able to find a lot of value out of their comp. And then Chengdu, again, on Village, where it favors the Pharah Sombra, favors the slightly slower style of playing, they're able to get the win there. Both teams understand their win conditions and how to play around the other. It just comes down to the environment they're playing in. This one, to me, favors Dallas a lot more, because although Chengdu have a ton of like boot potential and crazy stuff like that, and they can set up on a lot of angles, they can't really play the Pharah, can they? I mean, Jinmu's going to go for it. This feels like it's going to be difficult for the Pharah to get value before Dallas are just able to pin Chengdu in a corner.
Yeah, there's some nice line of sights that you can play.
Hack and a boot.
Dallas, yeah, I mean, straight away, Gaga just cannot do anything. Just removed from the fight pretty quickly there. And they do get the pick off onto Jexer. That might be an opportunity now. Dallas are missing the speed boost, but they're not going to be letting down just yet. The D-Mac's going to come through onto Elsa. The point is unlocked. Not in control of it yet. And now we see, once again, Chengdu making some early changes. Switching over to this composition. Jinmu was contemplating the Torb, but eventually they're going to be settling on this comp.
Double bubble with a pretty solid backline. This is a good decision from the Chengdu Hunters, I think. Gaga's going to be able to peel. Elsa's got bubbles to be able to play with when the Dallas Fuel engage. And Leave could potentially do a lot of work on McCree. They're going to be pocketing McCree pretty hard here.
Leave's just trying to put out that consistent damage. Just be a bit of a threat for either Sparkle or Doha. You can see the hack onto Gaga again. Coalescence, is it enough to try and collect the kill? Post-bomb comes through. Doha just going to be holding on to this EMP that he's built up now. Looking to try and get this kill onto Elsa as well. Backing off through the choke point. That is a clean win now for Dallas, assuming they don't lose any more players here, chasing them into their spawn. Holding on to the point with 40% in counting and this EMP to close out the next fight.
Yeah, the ult cycling is getting dangerous now for Dallas.
What
is that? That's so aggressive.
Yeah, straight into their spawn. Chengdu though, okay, trying to hold a candle to it. They just can't in the end. Dallas looking pretty strong. Fearless going to be kept alive by his team as well. Going to be supporting them fully. And that was a very, very quick EMP engagement. They weren't really waiting for them to try and play close in that choke point.
That's weird.
Yeah, it only bought them. It only bought them about 15%. I feel like.
Yeah, you only take like 20 seconds because it's 10 seconds for the team fight, 10 seconds for respawns, and you've killed them right in their spawn. And now Jinmu's coming back in with an EMP of his own. They have a nano boost to be able to make space, EMP to close this out. Looking good for Chengdu here to go for a flip. It's all on Jexer to avoid this and use the sound barrier to counteract Jinmu's EMP. Yeah. Where is he positioned? Right by the mega pack, all the way at the back.
Yeah, he's hidden all the way behind the pillar, so he's gonna be, oh no, okay, skirting across now, trying to reposition. Satistroke comes through, an aggressive approach by Dallas. They're using the Coalescence to try and force out ults, but Chengdu hold on. The Deadeye's gonna be used by Leave to try and clear the point, but this really needs to be a win for them. Chengdu have got to make this work, but they've been corralled around to the corner. Jinmu uses the EMP, it only connects onto 2. The sound barrier is still good for a while, and Dallas are in a solid position to try and win this one still. The Chengdu Hunters have a lot of damage output as it stands as well, and they're going to be finding a lot of kills off the back of this one. Sparkle's trying his hardest to try and turn the team fight around, but the Chengdu Hunters, they will prevail.
Dallas's comp is going to find it really difficult to just dive into Chengdu and select a target. Even though they had the sound barrier there to give them an opportunity, that backline is so solid. The healing that comes out of the Ana and the Brigitte in these scrappy fights is so good, and it just leaves Leave alive the entire time. Nano Boost was even applied onto Leave there, though it didn't achieve too much. But now it comes down to the ults. The problem is, Dallas Fuel only need to win one fight. Any good EMP or any good Primal Rage from Dallas, it's just going to win.
Grab comes through though. This might have to be absolutely massive, especially with Gaga going down the hack, but he gets the grab off. Is there any sort of follow-up? It doesn't look like it's going to be happening. The Dallas Fuel with the Coalescence a little bit later, and now no one's going to be capable of touching this one. Gaga going down early, sealed that deal long ago, and map number 1 will be going the way of the Dallas Fuel. A wonderful showcase, I think, from both of these teams, in that they can play different compositions, but playing to their strengths in a lot of ways. And this series is about to get very, very interesting.
It certainly is. This Tracer Sombra idea from Dallas is wonderful. I've been talking about it while I've been doing VOD reviews and analysis on my own personal stream too. But this is a comp that's currently underutilized in the meta right now. And as we go throughout the tournament, I anticipate more and more teams to be thinking about it and running it. It is so good against teams who are trying to run poke comps with a Mercy Zen backline, for example.
Right.
It's so good on these kind of maps where you're running the ball and you're just trying to get aggressive dives onto a Brig or something, or an Ana in the back. It's a fantastic comp, and not many teams are running it right now. It's gonna power Dallas Fuel to a pretty early lead here.
Now, what map could be the difference maker? We're going to be going to a short break. On the other side of things, we'll see the Chengdu Hunters are going to be battling back with some niche compositions of their own. Or the Dallas Fuel going to be moving one step closer to victory. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Even more Overwatch League action coming right up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
That's right, the Frag Video Contest is back. Submit your best compilation video at blizzard.wishpop.com/may-melee, bit of a mouthful, for a chance to win $3,000. Submissions will be open from May 10th through May the 14th, so get your submissions in for a chance to win that 3K. And yeah, the contest last time was a lot of fun, honestly, as well. It was awesome. The judging for it. Yeah, it was really, really nice to just highlight a lot of the creativity of our scene. And as we look at our Indeed player resume, we're going to be highlighting Gaga for this one. And Josh, you were singing this guy's praises previously in Chinese Contenders. And yeah, the storyline that's apparent as well, with the fact that Fearless was playing with Gaga in the roster. Gaga kind of his underling, I suppose. When Fearless moved out of the roster, Gaga took his position in the team.
It is truly the master against the apprentice. They have different styles, so they're not identical in the manner in which they play, but the storyline is equally awesome between the two of them. We've talked at length about how Fearless has, made this redemption arc and is now competing for the best main tank in the entirety of the league. But Gaga has been a rejuvenating presence for the Chengdu Hunters. He's redefined how this team plays. A lot of talk is still about how, there's the Chengdu zone and they play strange comps. They've actually been playing a lot of really meta stuff. And they've in some sense even defined the meta a lot over in APAC by playing so many ball poke compositions. This time they're going to be swapping Jimmy in for Jinmu. And Jimmy is their long-range hit scan player, a guy who's flown a little bit under the radar actually, but has been performing at an elite level when it comes to hit scan. And he's also got a Sombra pick, which is really nasty. So this does open up, or rather, this continues the idea that they could still play Leaf, Tracer, and Jimmy on Sombra. It just depends what they're looking to play as we head on here into Anubis.
Yes, and here's our map leaderboard presented by Xfinity. As you can see, our tie-in to this one is all the way back in 2018. Fuel versus Seoul. I mean, I don't know. I don't think this is when we saw the infamous AKM blade.
This could have been Custer, honestly.
It could have been, yeah. It could have been Custer, potentially. I'm not too sure. But that was so long ago. It feels like an age ago now. These are two, or at least the Dallas Fuel is looking radically different and improved. We finally get to see the curse broken. It feels like every season the fans are sharing around that the cycle of despair. I don't even know what it's called.
Cycle of misery, Brent.
Cycle of misery is what it's called. Yeah, it gets shared around for the Dallas Fuel, but it feels like this season it's a little bit different, as you can see. And now already leading the series 1-0 here in the first round of games here in the May Melee.
Yeah, what we've started to see on Anubis in the APAC meta is teams running a lot of long-range hit scan and echo. We've seen quite a bit of Ash Echo being played in APAC. Chengdu might have a different idea here because Dallas can't really play hit scan. Looks like they're going to go for a pause as well. Presumably some kind of tech issue. I'm sure they already had a plan here for coming into Anubis in terms of what compositions they wanted to run. But that is a big question for me. We'll get into it when the game actually begins, but there's many different things here that you could run on Anubis. We've seen teams go for the Reinhardt Rush Mirror. We've seen teams go for Echo and a long-range hit scan, Echo Tracer. Some teams go for double bubble, some for the ball comps. It is a really open map, and it's open to your interpretation of what you think is best for you and worst for your opponent.
We shall see, yes, we shall see. I mean, it truly is open to whatever you want to be playing, which, you know, you've handed the keys to either of these teams to play what they want, and you're right, Josh, you know, the Chengdu zone that we're talking about doesn't really exist to the same extent still.
Well,
they're showcasing it a little bit here as you were trying to sell that narrative.
They are the only team in the league right now that runs this composition, the Orisa and the Ball. And the idea is that Elsa is going to be holding a steadfast position while Gaga kind of peels and disrupts. Yeah, Elsa's really anchoring, and the main tank of Gaga now becomes more of the off tank and decides to try and peel and disrupt the dive attempts.
Dallas not wasting any time with this pace. Look at this, straight through the choke point, looking to try and catch any of these players out of position. Sparkle is laying down the sticky bombs from on high, just trying to push Jimmy off of this position as well, as he's holding down the high ground approach. A couple of shots being popped off. We've seen some great stuff from Jimmy thus far. He's going for the headshot, just holding it against Doha. Look at this. It's Battle of Chicken, and Doha just not wanting to relocate away. Finally does. Gaga goes down on the defense here, and that's going to open things up now for Dallas to start to move forwards. And Elsa's just trying to play around the shield, just trying to stay alive on this high ground position. Eventually, though, going to start getting pressured and then brought down. Sparkle, a couple of try shots, finding the mark. And look at that approach, Sparkle. I mean, that is just absurd. I mean, the guy's aim is ridiculous. He makes it look easy.
He certainly does. They cracked that one open, though, with the punish onto Gaga. And even though it's Sparkle, I believe, who gets the finishing blow there, it's Fielder who sets it up. And that is so crucial to be able to punish the Wrecking Ball while he's in your backline. It's something that Dallas have a lot of coordination right now. And if they can sync up the sleeps, the bionades, the bashes, and really punish Gaga, that's going to give them a big win opportunity here against Chengdu.
The damage boosted Echo obviously has a huge advantage when it comes to that kind of individual matchup. So Leave wins that one out early and actually stops this Dallas Fuel attack from getting out of hand. Dallas is still taking a hard approach, but okay, they're just kind of biding their time because Doha is in position with this EMP, and this is going to be the big thing here. Just trying to basically spam them out as well, maybe scare them into using a couple of ultimates. It is Chengdu, though, who are going for the aggressive attack now. You can see them trying to hold them at the choke point. Sorry, the aggressive defense, I should say. Duplicate being used. Leave with the Primal Rage, just trying to knock around a couple of these players, but the EMP catches onto so many targets and Leave just cannot get out of there. The hack doing its job.
EMP Bionade comes out. Fielder again landing another sleep dart onto Gaga. Another Bionade as well, trying to punish. Another hack onto Gaga. They're making his life hell here. And Dallas are establishing control, playing slowly enough to be able to claw this one out. And they got themselves a bit of an advantage. Well, up until Monk hit a Bionade onto Jegsa there.
Nice EMP is actually going to be connecting onto 3 targets from Dallas. The fight continues though. Dallas are steadily losing a player each and every point. They haven't got a tick yet either. Sparkle getting a lot of work done as well. The back line, Gaga's just desperately trying to basically stop this in its tracks. Fearless going down. I mean, despite the fact that this looks so good for Dallas, they are winning this team fight. Sparkle as well.
This.
I mean, nobody is stopping him currently, but eventually brought down. It's a massive pick here, Josh, especially when we get to this point now. If Chengdu can stall this, they should be in a good position.
Yeah, they've got a fantastic opportunity. Hanmin takes the nano boost and kills Monk in the back, though.
Point!
What? Gaga got hacked. Gaga got hacked again. And Elsa wasn't able to touch. That is... Brent, the Dallas Fuel are on another level right now. If it wasn't already evident from their incredible run through the North American knockouts, it's evident right here in this match. Chengdu have been up at the top of APAC. You could argue which of the teams is right up there at the top between Chengdu and Philly and maybe Shanghai after they've gone on a bit of a run recently. But Chengdu have been right up there. Dallas Fuel right now are outplaying them across the board. The punish on Gaga, the way they're syncing up all of their abilities, the sleep darts, the bionades, the hacks, and then they're opening up enormous room for Sparkle to both punish Gaga with his focusing beam and then get stickies onto the back line. It's just harmonious the way that Dallas Fuel are playing currently. It's like they unlocked a new chapter for this organization.
Yeah. It's pace. It's the pace that they play the game at. The decision-making that everybody's on the same board with is something typically you only really see from teams when they've played maybe a meta comp, one comp, they've learned the ins and outs of it, and the team's got a lot of practice with it. I'm thinking of teams like Shock when it comes to like the GOATS meta, stuff like that. That's what I get glimpses of when I watch this Dallas Fuel squad. And maybe it's too early to sing their praises this much, but if there's anything that 2018 taught me, Josh, it's that it doesn't matter how you do really in a regular season as long as you come alive for playoffs. And Dallas are really showcasing that here.
Absolutely. Here they go on the defense. Running Sparkle on Tracer. Echo Tracer is going to be the pick here. So Chengdu have access to bigger ultimates to grab the EMP. Gaga again getting punished. Just destroyed. And Fearless gets that final blow. The teacher getting the better end of the student right there.
And it must feel so oppressive, I think, if you're the Chengdu Hunters, especially if you're Gaga. You're just trying to do your job, but Dallas are so much on the same page when it comes to their approach to how they want to be taking this defense. The aggressive plays really paying off in their favor, and you can see this hold happening all the way back here. Fielder just essentially pumping in the heals. Now, they do get the team echo to Hamden, which could be massive, but Nisha falling is not ideal. Still, Sparkle going to be traded out. Monk in a lot of trouble. Ooh, I thought that he wasn't going to go down there. It felt like Fearless just didn't know where he was. But Chengdu winning this out slowly but surely, trading out these players one for one is going to be working out in their advantage ever so slightly, as long as they can maintain and hold this map control that they're gaining.
Hanbin has been trying to punish Gaga a lot, and they opened that fight up by getting him out of mech. And that really just opened the floodgates for Chengdu. Not in the sense that they're playing quickly here, but in the sense that there just hasn't been able to be a response for Dallas. They're choking them out of this team fight, just making sure that they're always in really solid positions. And while that point A attack was good, what I'm worried about here, Brent, for Dallas, is the amount of ults that are now online for Chengdu. They can duplicate, they can grab, they can nano boost Gaga with a primal rage, they can EMP. There are so many different ways in which they can combo these ults to be able to finish out a team fight win here. And for Dallas, they just have to try and desperately hold on.
Here's the approach. The EMP comes through, only connects onto Fearless, and Fearless is out of there. Not getting what they were looking for. Chengdu want to be carrying this one forward. Doha using the duplicate now. That's another Winston on the field. It makes it very tricky. Still, the hack comes through, but it looks like the Dallas Fuel are the ones who are winning this fight out again. The duplicate is just about to fade, so the sticky bomb's not going to be doing the job that they were supposed to. Dodging and juking, Doha will get healed up, and he's staying safe in this, and the Dallas Fuel with a firm understanding. We're like, okay, we know we're up against potentially 5 ultimates now from Chengdu because the way we took that fight. We got to take the fight to them. And they forced a better fight out of it.
Yeah, it was also the whiff of the EMP, though. I think you've got to mention that, right? Jimmy only getting the EMP onto Fearless after he'd already jumped away. If you just get a solo EMP onto Fearless and kill him, that can be a fight winner, but not if you don't finish off the kill because he's already used his leap. Thankfully, though, Jimmy has got up to 60% again, so it's not all over, and the time bank is still enormous for Chengdu.
Nanoboost's going to be used on Fearless. Big Bionade into that grab to combo it up. Chengdu looking to turn this one now, especially with Leave. Duplicate's going to be used. Sleep into the corner. Self-destruct as well. Chaos in the dark room currently, but Chengdu seem like they're the ones coming out on top. Another Primal. Here, Leave just obviously at the tail end of his duplicate, but it matters not because Chengdu are in firm control now of this point. Already going to be able to possibly get 2 ticks here. Pulse Bomb comes through. Sparkle not getting the kill he was looking for. Monk ends up going down. Dallas looking to turn this one. They've actually caught them in the back corridor here. A lot of kills going their way, but Leaf still alive, pumping in the damage. Still Jexa evens it out, and they've lost enough players that it's not looking doable for them. Jimmy, last one standing. 2 ticks is all Chengdu are going to be able to get.
And that's a huge recovery from the Dallas Fuel because things were looking rough there. It was a nice engagement to be able to kill Jexa. Fearless had already been punished, though he was just trying to buy time with his Primal Rage. That's really his main goal in that situation. But Dallas still managed to turn it, but much better positioning from them. They're able to capitalize on a large EMP again coming out from Fielder. Both of these Ana players have been playing out of their minds. There's another pick to open things up. Han been doing damage from a high ground there, along with Doha, and Fielder gets the final blow.
And in early team fights, picking off the Sombra player is really massive. You prevent them from building up any more EMP charge. Now, Jimmy is back into the fight. He's already respawned, but look at this. The team fight's lost still. This is the same team fight that's occurring. Jimmy does get the kill to Sparkle. Doha, obviously with the duplicate form, the Primal Rage, just going to be causing a bit of a havoc now in their spawn. Eventually going to be fading out of that one and rejoining the rest of his team. But this aggressive defense from Dallas is really causing some serious issues for Chengdu.
It is. It is. It's also allowing Doha to build up his ults at a ridiculous rate. He has had duplicate online so often, and once he copies Gaga and there are 2 Winstons on the board, Fearless is scary enough on his own. You don't need a second clone of Fearless on the board, and Doha's Primals have been able to gather good value.
Oh, the Pulse Bomb somehow gets value there. I believe Nisha was forced out of it. The Bionade as well.
Grabs?
What? Okay, well, maybe the switch is going to be in order here. They're getting a couple of trade kills, but with Dallas on the defense, you're not going to be able to make this work. And Chengdu, it feels like it's slipping away from them. The pressure may be getting to them. They realize obviously only a tick is what they have to gain here, but the time bank has been whittled down to almost nothing.
It completely has. That's just a straight up mistake from Chengdu. That does feel like the pressure got to Elsa there. He just threw that grab away. EMP catches Hanbin. He's very close.
2 tanks. Yeah, 2 tanks getting caught. Leave ends up duplicating over to the Tracer. The recall going to be used. But how is he going to be finding value here? The Pulse Bomb is going to be coming quick, surely. There we go. 1 stick happening and no self-bubble there for Hanbin to try and survive it. Another one! Leave, you've got to be kidding me. That is ridiculous. You rarely see teams, you rarely see Echo players taking over the Tracer. But is it going to be enough here? They look like they're just, again, full stop. They don't want to take the team fight. They realize that it's done.
Yeah, they can't. Monk died in the middle of that fight to a Bionade from Fielder. Fielder's been throwing them in from the backline like nothing. Like he's just been landing the huge Bionades repeatedly. Now for Chengdu, a Nano Boost and a Primal Rage have got to win this fight. Otherwise, it goes the way of the Dallas Fuel.
So after all, the Pulse Bomb comes down into the corner, but it might not even be necessary to win that one out. The grab was followed up with the Bionade.
It's done.
Yeah,
it's just
12 seconds remaining.
Done, Brent. They have a Nano Boost and they have a duplicate to be able to work with here. Fielder's going to be able to get to Nano by the time this happens, and they're already holding forward. What on earth can they even do? Wait.
Might be able to touch, possibly.
What on earth?
No. Yeah, I mean, you could feel it, couldn't you? The 2 picks going away, but ultimately it is Dallas who will be walking away with that one. And leading the series 2-0 early on. I think Dallas showcasing as well. Just, I keep using the word, but I think it's so fitting for them. The pace that they're playing the game at is just really unmatched currently in the Overwatch League. And they're showcasing why they are currently honestly the biggest threat, I think, in terms of out of all the teams that we've got in the May Melee. They have been rolling through their opposition, and it seems like Chengdu, potentially the best in APAC, doesn't really seem like a threat to them at the moment.
No. I mean, this is just more of the same from the Dallas Fuel. They beat the San Francisco Shock 3-0. They beat the Houston Outlaws 3-0. And here in the May Melee, they have yet to drop a map even against some of the best that APAC has to offer.
Absolutely.
It's dominant, it's fast-paced, it's aggressive, and it's forcing out major mistakes from the Chengdu Hunters. They need to come up with a game plan fast. They need to take us to a good map fast as well, because this has got to be a reverse sweep. Otherwise, the Chengdu Hunters are headed to the lower bracket to meet the Florida Mayhem.
Absolutely, yeah. And we're going to find out on the other side of the break just how the Chengdu Hunters are going to do it. If they've got anything up their sleeves to try and come back in this series, they got to pull it up now. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with even more Overwatch League action.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
All right, Zoe, get ready for the Pringles Live segment in 3, 2, 1, go Zoe.
Welcome back, everyone. It is now time for our Pringles Bold Predictions. Danny, what you got for us?
Scorching chili and lime.
Danny?
Ooh, pizza?
Danny?
Danny?
Ooh, on ranch.
Danny.
Barbecue on jalapeno on honey mustard.
Danny.
All the Pringles
Stacked on top of all the Pringles. Stacked on top of all the Pringles. Stacked on top of.
Perfect. Great job, everyone.
Pringles, stay in the game. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everybody, and yes, as you can see here, our power rankings with IBM Watson. We got DPS from both of these teams in the top 10. Leave and Jinmu and Doa and Sparkle as well. Really showcasing. I am curious as to what these rankings are going to look like, I think, at the end of the week as well, because I think we'll be seeing some major adjustments with the pace and speed that Dallas have been bringing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, up at the top there, Yaki still had an amazing series despite the loss against the Shanghai Dragons. And it feels like in this game, too, Doha and Sparkle are so coordinated with the rest of the team. Especially Doha. I've been really impressed with this guy, with playing the Sombra and playing the Echo towards the end there, too. Both of those picks make Gaga's life hell. It's really difficult to work around. And we've got a sub over on the side of the Chengdu Hunters. It's Jinmu coming in for Jimmy.
Yes, and it does orchestrate, I think, as well, kind of what Chengdu are thinking in terms of how to play into this. But the biggest issue with them playing maybe Jinmu on the fire, I'm not sure if that is the end goal for them here. Generally speaking, if Jinmu is in, he's going to be playing some sort of projectile role. But the goal is to try and, I guess, punish the fact that they have a lack of hit scan. But it just hasn't been working. Like, Dallas have really figured out, I guess, they know what the weakness of their comp is, and they just mitigate it with just the absolute blitz pace that they play at. And speaking of blitz
You're
pace,
talking about blitz pace.
look at the fuel. This was the other week. They've just set the second fastest time on Blizzard World against the Houston Outlaws. And that is going to be the map we're playing. That is what the Chengdu Hunters have decided to bring the Dallas Fuel to.
By the way, the only map that the Chengdu Hunters lost to the Seoul Dynasty coming in here. But their hands are really tied. If they want to pick on a hybrid map, they've really been struggling with hybrid recently. So they've really been struggling on hybrid recently. They've been having issues with King's Row and Eichenwald. Well, King's Row especially. You're going to be running into the Rush. You yourself are going to have to play Rush. Doesn't seem like a good pick. Then if you go over to Eichenwald, Chengdu have actually been playing reasonably well there, mostly playing Winston, double bubble comps, but I think they just respect Dallas too much. Now they've taken them to Blizzard World, and it is a map that Chengdu have been, you know, able to play ball comps on. The poke comps have been pretty good. They can flex over to double bubble if they need to. It theoretically makes sense for Chengdu, but when you look at how dominant the Dallas Fuel have been on this map, and then you look at the fact that Chengdu lost to it recently, it just doesn't seem like there's too much hope. The Hunters better have something different prepped. And there is something slightly different here, Brent, because Jinmu is playing instead of Jimmy. So they do have a different idea here on this map.
Yeah, it seems like their approach is probably going to be playing this double shield, controlling the high ground.
Yeah.
Trying to use this May wall to catch out some of the players, I think. But it's not going to be the typical kind of dive rush that Dallas are playing. They might make some switches up, but it seems like they are just going to be playing the dive with the Brigana backline. This is classic little composition here, using the ult rotation of the EMP and the nano boost probably.
Dragon stirs within me.
Yeah, I think that Dallas Fuel were expecting to see Chengdu running a ball comp here. Because the Tracer and the Sombra, like I said, it's very good for being able to punish a diveable backline. That's not really what Chengdu have here. So this is going to be a lot revolving around Doha's EMP and manual hacks. But I think Chengdu have got a pretty good answer for it so far.
Yes, this comp has really forced the hand of Dallas, and you either switch it up at the beginning or you don't switch it up at all, and they've decided to just opt into this one. They're going to be losing this team fight though, just trying to even it out. The damage that Leave is outputting is just immense. Already built up the Dragon Strike, by the way. Look at this one, he's got for the next team fight.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And they almost have an Amp Matrix as well to stop Dallas Fuel approaching. We do have a swap though. Sparkle's gone over to the Genji here, and they're playing... Wait, really? Are they playing Lucio? They're playing full-on dive here. The Nano Boost can be applied to Fearless or Sparkle in this fight. They don't have a Blade though, because Sparkle was, you know, he was literally absent in the former team fight on the Genji. So this is going to take a while, and their ults might end up being mismatched if they choose to invest in this first fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to be investing into here. The Nano comes off onto Fearless. It's actually a Primal laid out on top of it. It's going to be looking to see if he can disrupt them. It is a bit strange. The Dragon Strike comes through and it does stop Sparkle. That's going to be pushing them away. And no one's really taking care of Leave. You can see the approach, the attempt here, at least from Chengdu, as the tank line tries to dive onto him, but Leave's still healthy. And I gotta say, Josh, you know, you gotta scope out what Chengdu are running, and making switches in the middle. They're making switches again. Sparkle moving over to the May. Wait, no. Changing, chopping his mind. What are they gonna settle on?
Yeah, they're going to swap over to a brawl comp here. So instead of going, I mean, this is actually going to be pretty fast-paced as well. They're going to be able to speed boost, use the Symmetra teleporters to get around. So this is something that Dallas Fuel have been playing a lot on a range of other maps.
Yeah.
The teleporters could definitely catch Chengdu off guard. And they have the EMP.
You have to be careful about these teleporter plays. The EMP is going to be the big thing, though. You can see Monk is trying to play out of line of sight because they know it's coming. He's trying to set up himself so he doesn't get caught in the EMP, and he can send in the immortality field when he's not hacked up. So he has to play really safe and conservative.
They don't have great tools for dealing with Doha and finding it, but you can see Jinmu was trying to spray around some ice there. There we go. EMP comes out. Where's the follow-up? It's just simply not existent.
They're trying to focus down the tank line when they're pushing through here, but the immortality field into the blizzard as well with that gravitic flux. Chengdu have every tool at their disposal to deal with that one. I think the EMP was meant to just try and push away the back line while the tank line was susceptible. It gave Dallas a small window, but they just didn't have the damage to kill Gaga. Gaga just fortified.
Yeah, I mean, didn't they catch the DPS rather than the backline? I mean, Immortality Field was still available. Nisha was still healing, so that doesn't really do anything at all. And now Dallas have just been completely stumped. We said that Chengdu had to bring out something new here, and this is it. It has completely caught the Dallas Fuel off guard.
The Dragon Strike's not going to get too much done. It's a fast rotation around. The wall doesn't get too much. Self-destruct buys them a bit of space, but the Amp Matrix, this is brutal. They're playing right into this one. Immortality Field comes up, but the damage is already done. Fearless and Jexa have fallen. 2 ticks going to be gained, so the Dallas Fuel have at least bought themselves a win condition, but the fight doesn't end here. Gaga ends up going down. The Symbol is going to be giving them a bit of damage mitigation with the tanks gone. Dallas now going to be rolling out Fearless and Hanbin, trying to get back into this fight as quickly as humanly possible. The res onto Gaga, though, is massive, and Elsa, connecting the accretion, is going to be taking out the off-tank as well. Gravitic Flux might be enough to catch onto him. Indeed, it catches onto 2, and that should seal it for Chengdu. Being able to hold this one now. The overtime still ticking. Dallas looking for opportunities to re-engage this one. Jexa still alive, but for not much longer. And it feels like inevitability now that the Chengdu Hunters will be able to hold on to this one, stopping them from even capturing it. 71.5%. That is what Dallas were able to achieve. So at least it is winnable for them, but it's not good prospects.
Coach RUI diff is what I'm going to say about that one. Chengdu Hunters head coach cooking up a very different composition, completely catches Dallas off guard. They did not know which comp they wanted to swap to there. You wouldn't even have to look at the rest of the screen except the little hero portraits of Dallas to realize how confused they were there. Sparkle swapping over to Genji, Sparkle swapping over to Mei, or rather swapping over to the what was he even playing towards the end there? They were playing the Mei and something. I can't even remember, man.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
anyway. They chopped and changed their tank line so much, and their DPS line, to try and come up with an answer, and they just never were able to figure out what the correct thing to do was against Chengdu. And that, Bren, that is going to happen so many times throughout this main melee. When you have different regions with different metas coming together and clashing, if you throw a curveball at your opponent and they have to react on the fly, they are much less likely to win, to be able to do that.
Yeah. These teams, they're not scrimming against each other across the regions, obviously. It's not feasible for them. So a lot of these strategies that they're throwing out, this will be, again, it tests your adaptability. It tests how quickly you can react and come up with the correct solution. It's honestly, in my opinion as well, it was the tale of the last series that we watched in some sense. Was watching 2 teams trying to adapt to each other, and
but
that's going to be
so
key.
This is not over yet. This is not over by any means. The last time Chengdu attacked on Blizzard World against the Seoul Dynasty, Gesture and Prophet on the Winston and on the Tracer destroyed them. And if there's any team that can do the same, I'm looking at Dallas with Fearless and then Sparkle and Doha. Chengdu are going to try and mirror instead of playing the ball comp, so again, something different from Chengdu here on their Blizzard World attack. But they're still playing into the comfort realm for the Dallas Fuel.
Yeah. It's the double bubble as well. I mean, the projected barrier is going to be helping to a degree, I suppose, but I feel like you might want the Diva to try and push back Doha at least a little bit. Still, the hack comes through. Sparkle goes down. Headshot from Leave. Jinmu forced out of position there, so he had to relocate backwards because the flashbang caught him. Dallas need to get a pick off here. They're looking for something, but look at that.
That's
chaining
great.
the crowd control. Flashbang into the shield bash. It actually locks him up long enough to take out Fearless. Jexa falls afterwards. And the Chengdu Hunters have come up with the appropriate response here. going to be capping this one up pretty quickly. Doha gets caught as well. They just about spot him, so another great play by Nisha here. The shield bashes are just really just kind of suppressing a lot of what Dallas are trying to do. The recontest comes through with the nano boost. Sparkle gets Gaga. I don't want to call it over just yet, even though they're only just shy of a couple of percentage points. They have to keep contesting this point, but they need pickups as well. The longer this fight goes, Dallas are doing a good job of just contesting this one out. The D-Mech, the post-bomb comes through. It's an explosive finish to this one. Are Dallas really going to be able to hold on?
No, I don't think there's a chance here, Bren. Even with this EMP coming through, they have so many ults online. And the rally armor, the EMP, it was all available for the Chengdu Hunters.
There we go.
Elsa with a little bit of style, and they're going to be able to wrap up this map.
Yeah, Dallas certainly didn't want to go down easily. But eventually it is going to be going towards the Chengdu Hunters. And these maps have been so quick. I mean, hold on, Blizzard World. We are going to be going to the 4th map, though. So Chengdu Hunters keeping themselves in this series as we head over to the Escort map. And yeah, a great showcase, I think, of Chengdu just not really faltering under the pressure. I was a little bit concerned that this series was going to be just a bit too much one-sided. But Dallas are going to be stopped short.
Absolutely. Yeah, a great response from Chengdu. And again, just want to give credit to the coaching staff behind the Chengdu Hunters for coming up with such a fantastic adaptation there on Blizzard World that was able to completely catch the Dallas Fuel off guard. I think it's fair to say Dallas have been the better team overall throughout this series so far, but if Chengdu have more stuff in the back pocket like that, and they keep bringing it out in this series, we could really see this flip on its head. It's going to be so tough, but Chengdu still have a chance.
Well, yeah, we are going to be seeing, obviously, the Dallas Fuel's map pick, and on the other side of the break, the series will be continuing. Do the Chengdu Hunters have what it takes to try and stay into this series and complete this reverse sweep, or are Dallas going to be stopping them short once more? We'll find out. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, even more action coming up.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Hi, folks. Radical Hone here. The fine people down at the Overwatch League are offering you a deal that you are not gonna want to miss out on. Right now, for a limited time only, we've got tons of these Overwatch League perks. Jimmy down at shipping must have put a couple of extra zeros at the end of the order. We got so many Overwatch League perks, this roof's gonna buckle. Watch out, Jimmy. The boy's sweet, but if brains were leather, well, he'd have about enough to saddle a June bug. Just click right down here, connect your YouTube account to your Battle.net account, and by God, you're gonna start seeing these league tokens stack up higher than a Georgia pine. I've got legendary skins, I've got Overwatch League skins, and more to come. So come on, folks. Connect those accounts, get those perks, and let's make sure Jimmy here gets to keep his job. I tell you, his brain rattles around like a BB in a boxcar. That boy could flunk a blood test. There's a tree stump in Louisiana with a higher IQ. He's so stupid, he's my uncle and my brother.
Overwatch League perks. They make everything better.
There we go, ready, man.
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
No! When we start?
Here's Carry.
Let's go!
Pelican.
What?
You're playing Brig. Shut up. What?
You baby?
And your haircut. Stat.
I don't care my hair.
Because you're always handsome, that's why.
Yeah. But DNA.
DNA difference? Okay.
I'm not kidding. I'm serious by
I know.
rapping.
No, I know.
They play balls there. TP. No TP, just walk. Walk. Use your TP.
Pelican.
Oak. Guitar.
We have a zoo. Pelican, gator, and hawk.
Monkey.
Single.
Ash.
Let's go!
Never eat apple before sleep. Why? Honey? I don't know.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League. And by the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Go to takemetomanoa.org today.
Back from the break, everybody. Yeah, as you can see, the Dallas Fuel are already settling in quite nicely into Hawaii, being safe as well alongside it. I mean, just, yeah, I mean, obviously, got a couple of series to get out of the way, but, you know, plenty of time to relax afterwards. I think we just saw in the comms check where they were saying you can relax in Hawaii, Jack. So you don't want to be relaxing just yet because you still got a series to play.
Definitely, and this is a really important tournament for the Dallas Fuel. Take a look at where they are in the bracket right now. They need to win a series of matches to get them into the Shanghai Dragons. They're on match point currently. I'm not calling it. Could go either way right now. But what I am saying is it's incredibly important, arguably more important for Dallas than any other team. The reason being that they came into this tournament at 6th overall in the regular season, right? They only went 2-2 with +2, and they battled their way in through the bracket. Now, what that means is they have less league points than everyone else right now. Everyone else that's in this tournament currently either has 3 or 4 league points. Dallas Fuel only have 2, and they are just... They are playing this tournament mostly for the extra league points that it creates. If you win this tournament, you get 3 bonus points. That's like getting 3 extra wins in the regular season.
Massive.
So critical for a team like the Dallas Fuel. Even if they make it deep, it's a massive boon for their tournament run and for their season overall.
It truly is, yeah. I think we really need to highlight the importance of that overall because that's the big picture, right? Of course, there's a ton of money on the line that these guys are playing for in the main melee, but ultimately it's for the finals that is in, you know, the far distance right now.
Yeah.
But before you know it, it's going to be happening, and you want all the points you can get to get as high in the seeding as possible. As you can see, we do have Jimmy, who is subbing back in there for Jinmu as we're heading over to the next map, which is Gibraltar. This is an interesting one because this is Dallas's map pick. And instead of opting into trying to play on Havana, for example, and try and play what they're strong at, which is like the rush competitions, they've opted for Gibraltar instead. Can you make rhyme or reasoning for this, Josh?
Well, I think that perhaps they're worried about long-range hit scan on Havana because it's such long sight lines. But to me, Chengdu looks so weak on Havana that would have been the better option. You're taking them to Gibraltar, right? Which is a fantastic map for the Dallas Fuel. We saw a banger of a series between Dallas and the Washington Justice, where Fearless set a league record when it came to his Primal Rage kills. But Chengdu are pretty good here too. Chengdu recently demolished the Seoul Dynasty on this map, and they have a range of comps that they can play. If you want to play the double bubble, Gaga's fine doing that. If you want to play the ball poke compositions, Gaga's really fine doing that. And so for Dallas, it feels like they are a bit more limited in terms of what they can run. They're not going to be running poke comps with Sparkle or Doha on Ashe. That just isn't going to be happening here. Whereas Chengdu have much more flexibility and availability of different compositions. So this feels to me like a bit of a missed opportunity for Dallas to close out this series fast on Havana. And instead, we're going to get what could potentially be a slobber knocker on Gibraltar instead.
I mean, we saw it in the last series. It ends up being, when these teams match up from one side or the other, it ends up being a little bit messy, for lack of a better word. And part of that is not to discredit the teams, but just saying how when the teams are forced to chop and change their compositions, when they're faced with something that they've never seen before, it tends to get messy like that, and that's just part of the game.
Of course. Well, here we go. The Dallas Fuel are defending with double bubble as anticipated. They don't have that long-range hit scan player, so going to be playing with the Tracer and the Sombra. That opens up a lot of opportunities for Jimmy, potentially.
Wow, okay, they catch out Fearless. Big Bionade from Monk actually enabling that kill. And Jimmy is in a good sightline here. You don't want to be given to Widowmaker play. A lot of space. Chengdu are getting so much work done. This is rolling mobile death ball off the back of Monk's Bionades as well. The major win con currently in these team fights.
Dallas have to go aggressive here because they have two kind of flanky DPS. They can't win long extended fights because Jimmy's just going to be able to get onto good sightlines and get picks on them. And when they're going aggressive, Leave is trying to peel and punish. And they don't have anything to deal with Leave because they don't have a long-range hit scan. This is a really nice idea from Chengdu.
The high ground's currently trying to be controlled there. You can see Dallas fighting hard for this blue box area. They don't want to give it up. Hanbin is taking a ton of poke damage as well. The sticky bombs just laying into him. Meanwhile, Doha is causing a bit of havoc, as you can see. Jimmy gets the shot off of the Doha. The jump shot.
Wow.
Okay.
That is crazy.
I'm in disbelief at that one.
Yeah, that must have been a nutty shot because the angles just don't make sense there. Chengdu, though, might have overextended a little bit here. Leave dies, Jimmy's already fallen, although Leave gets resurrected, so unless Fearless can do something massive with this Primal...
Well, he's going to be able to use it to just kind of separate Elsa from the rest of the team, and Elsa so close to that ground, not going to be able to get it off. The Nano Boost was applied to Gaga, but Dallas is doing a decent job of kiting this one back. Hanbin lets the grab loose, he just about built it, and that should be enough to turn this team fight around. Yeah, Chengdu, it felt like they had a very large advantage going into that team fight. I won't lie, they got the pickoffs, but Dallas, you never want to count them out.
They killed both DPS, so it is a bit worrying that Chengdu weren't able to capitalize on that and convert it into a team fight win. Now they're going up against the EMP. Doha, so far, has been kind of the flanker in the back, harassing Jimmy, stopping him from getting into great positions. But now Doha's going to have to play tighter and use this EMP to win the team fight.
EMP connects. It's actually going to be connecting onto a lot of good targets. Dallas trying to match it up as well. Doha's able to clean up a couple of these targets. Look at that Primal. Oh, he's not going to be able to get out of there. That is the mechanics of Gaga that we were hyping up.
Jimmy again.
Able to just separate him around. Jimmy with the headshot onto Sparkle. Just putting in that consistent work, getting those pickoffs. The rally again being kind of just separated. And Gaga somehow, I mean, it's so rare to see the Winston coming out with the dubs on top of that one, but still he makes it work. Fearless though with the Primal Rage has turned it around. The grab doesn't really find too much. Chengdu's still pushing this one in slowly, but Sparkle with two, and Fearless still alive now. They weren't expecting this whatsoever, just putting in a bit of that tickle damage from the Tesla cannon, and that's the kill onto Monk, the short hop to bring him down.
Fearless has been running all over the Chengdu Hunters. The tank diff is real right here on the Winston. You are witnessing the best Winston in the Overwatch League right now, the best Winston in the world. He's on another level, man. He's just able to get into the backlines, do so much damage, return to the front lines, clean up players. Credit to Sparkle as well for being able to stay alive in that team fight and finishing off so many kills. They don't really have a good method of dealing with those DPS, and so Jimmy swapped over to McCree.
Doha gets caught there. For some reason, the Translocator went into the Chengdu Hunters, but it's given them an opening. 20 seconds remaining. The duplicate is available. The bubble is applied. Fearless is in a bit of trouble. The Nanabu's now going to be coming up, but Leave is going to be now choosing his target. Diving into the back line. This is troubling now for the Dallas Fuel. There's only so much that Fearless can do with that Nanoboost applied. Just about builds a Primal Rage, so now he's going to try and keep this fight going, but Chengdu are in complete control. Leave did build up a Primal Rage of his own. It is a lot of chaos now occurring onto the point, but ultimately Chengdu will be the ones who are prevailing. 2.5 minutes is what they're working with now as they just about capture that checkpoint.
That's one of the most dangerous areas of Gibraltar. Once you get past there and you start getting high ground control like they have on point B, you can start to get some serious momentum going. And this swap from Jimmy over to McCree is wonderful. The coordination here between Gaga and Leave, enormous. Leave gets hacked in the middle of that, though.
That was an EMP from Doha. Ends up committing it into the staircase to try and turn the fight around. Gaga doesn't go down. Okay, this is getting a little bit dangerous now. Dallas are fighting so hard over this high ground because they know how important it is. But Gaga getting out alive, he's just built up so much ult charge. And now they've lost a lot of these key positions that you want to be holding now in checkpoint B. Still, Dallas are making an effort to just hold on to this high ground once again, but Gaga's still in this fight. The Nanoboost is ready and waiting, and now it's going to get applied. The grab is laid down by Hanbin to try and lock up Gaga, but he's already further forward, just trying to keep them out of the choke point. Nobody can even contest the cart, and Chengdu just keep this cart going.
That is momentum. That's what we're talking about when we say Gibraltar is a snowballing map. As soon as Chengdu batter their way through checkpoint A, they just have priority control over all of the good positions on B. And Dallas are battered back into a corner. Jex has had to reset to be able to get proper spawns, and in the meantime, the aggression just keeps on going.
Yeah, these kills. I mean, as soon as they can't start flowing, it's hard to stop it now. And Chengdu, not only are they rolling with the momentum, it's the ultimates that are going to be assisting them as well. I mean, they just haven't lost a team fight since checkpoint A.
Grab stickies, duplicate, anything. Chengdu have got all of the good positioning here.
Yeah, Nanoboost has to be used to try and keep them alive. Do they have the damage? The right click comes in from Elsa. I believe that was so much work being put into it with the Bionade as well from Monk. Gaga just keeping them locked up now with the Primal. The cart, it just hasn't been stopped whatsoever. Doha has to get this EMP out, but it connects onto the targets. There will be no follow-up. The Sleep Dart, just to put it at an end. And that is 1 minute 54. Chengdu Hunters not stopping in the slightest.
That is a dominant performance from Chengdu. Chengdu look amazing on Gibraltar, Brent, and this is why I was so worried about the Dallas Fuel taking them here. They're going to kick themselves if they lose this series to a reverse sweep when they could have taken Chengdu to Havana where they've looked so weak. Chengdu have battered their opposition on Gibraltar. They rolled Shanghai when they played them on this with insane coordination between Jimmy and Gaga. They're doing it this time again just by virtue of taking the best positions possible on this map. It's not necessarily like individuals stepping up or them having fantastic team fight executions, but every team fight is biased in their favor because in order to begin a team fight, Dallas have to batter back against high ground control that Chengdu always have. On checkpoint B, on checkpoint C, Dallas didn't take a single even fight. It was always Chengdu with the better map control because they know Gibraltar, they know how to play it, they know which areas are important.
This map, I think, out of a lot of them, really does, I think, rely on your entire team and having a firm understanding of the importance of where to hold the team fights as well. Because if you know the kind of power positions, I suppose I'm going to call it, for lack of a better term, like of where to hold on the map, the really crucial areas, which is like the high ground on point B, you can get that snowball going, as we saw from Chengdu. This time on the defense, though, Dallas are going to be opting to try their own hand at the attack. You can see them making a couple of adjustments to the composition as well. I believe Sparkle moving over to the Tracer now. Jexa over to the Brig as well to get a bit of defense for this back line.
This is a weird one though, Brent, because Jimmy is so flimsy and squishy. Jimmy's going to be a real dive candidate here for the Dallas Fuel. And Dallas have got a Tracer and a Sombra on the case. The peel has got to be perfect from Chengdu.
Fearless getting out of there. They need to try and get this pick. They don't do it. So Fielder is building up this nanoboost quickly. And yeah, you're right, Josh, talking about Jimmy being this dive target. That's what they want to be looking at. You can see him holding up top there, but you're not pushing him off that angle. And he finds the headshot onto Handman. He finds the headshot onto Doha. I mean, Jimmy.
What a 180 flick.
I know, he's just finding so much value. Now he's hunting for them when they're trying to back off into their spawn. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it, but look at this angle that he's holding. And now, okay, he's like, okay, I can see you trying to square up to man. I'm going to be backing off a little bit here, playing with the rest of the team, but he is just being so hard to push out of these positions.
They have given high ground, though, because Sparkle was contesting the point. Jimmy again killing one of the flankers. That is unreal.
Nano boost applied. Fearless wants to try and turn this fight. The Primal Rage, he dodges the sleep dart. That could be big, and it has set them up for a bit of a kill now as Jimmy will fall. They just need to try and deny this res. Nisha still holding on to that Valkyrie. Look at the mechanics from Fearless. What are we witnessing? I mean, this guy is just absurd. Fearless, I don't think he's getting out of this one. They are going to chase him down in the end, but he created so much space for them. Chengdu have to approach this rapidly now. You can see Gaga using that Primal Rage. The bubble, actually, I think disjointed the hack for a moment, but eventually hacked up again. Now the EMP laid into it. So much damage being offloaded at this choke point. And the Chengdu Hunters are just being kind of stopped short here, right when they were going for it. But all of that off the back of the space that Fearless was creating.
Yeah, we are witnessing a masterclass right now when it comes to Fearless. He just simply is the best. Now, we get another interesting situation, though, again here, Brent, because Chengdu fought so heavily over Checkpoint A, they again are going to be at a disadvantage here for the whole of Checkpoint B. The tables have turned. Look at how Dallas are dominating that high ground.
Yes, it's so important to control. It means it forces Chengdu down underneath here in this particular section, and they're just privy to just getting tickled here by Fearless. Fearless, look at the hack as well. Hack. Onto Monk. Monk can't do anything. The team just can't peel for him in that situation. The sticky bombs will eventually bring him down though, so Chengdu, they find an advantage out of seemingly thin air. Taking down the tank line of Dallas means that they're going to be finding it hard to control this point, but Chengdu, obviously Elsa contesting the card up as well with this grab, is looking for a good opportunity to use it.
Great body blocks there from Chengdu, actually, to keep Fearless in a rough position. But they don't have high ground again. Gaga hacked up, Doha getting very close to his EMP, and Leaves Duplicate is online. That could be the difference maker as he uses it to copy Fearless. Slept up immediately.
Over to the Winston. Slept, but I don't think it's going to matter in the long term here. As you can see, Chengdu are the ones who are finding the pickups. The backline of Chengdu is missing. No supports, no healing. You can cut it off from them. Fearless is not going to opt to use that Primal Rage. I think he recognizes, okay, the fight is probably done here. Okay.
Why are they
going to get blocked up here?
They're all trying to stay alive.
I'm not sure.
I mean, there was no way that Handbit was surviving that, so I'm not sure why they didn't go for the faster reset. But okay, Nisha doing a good job of just protecting Jimmy, gets the personal bubble as well. Dallas, though, they have an opportunity. EMP, gotta be large. It has to be. Doha can be the game changer here, and there's a good manual hack.
Forces the bubble, actually. The projector barrier comes out, so not going to be having it now for this EMP, but the EMP did not even connect onto Gaga. Was he out of line of sight?
Yeah, he did. No, he got EMP'd, and then he also got nano boosted on top. So they tried to. He got the personal bubble from the Zarya. He got the nano boost as well. They invested so many tools to keep Gaga alive and just delay time.
You're still pushing him off. Gaga with the Primal Rage as well, and this high ground that we've been talking up, you know, how important it is to hold. Currently, Chengdu just not opting into it. Just taking the fight on the ground. The rally engage now from Nisha. Look at the shots coming out from Jimmy. That is elite. Doha removed from the fight. No more neutral hacks available to Dallas now. Still trying to take control now as they're diving into the backline. Nano boost onto Fearless. Might be enough to try and again push Chengdu into this corridor. The postbomb comes in, comboing up with the grab. That's a good pick onto Elsa. And the tracking from Sparkle. I mean, that's going to mean the point captured. And there was a lot of doubts, I think, onto Sparkle as well in terms of his, I think, ability playing the Tracer, but he's really been showing the doubters up, I think, over the course of the season so far.
Definitely. Yeah, the dude's got fantastic mechanics, and the question mark was the question around his Tracer was always just whether he would be able to sync it up with the team and get that same value. He doesn't really take that many Tracer 1v1s. He just is playing so well coordinated with the rest of his team that he gets mega value.
Yeah, as we're picking him up, ends up getting taken down by Gaga in the end. The classic caster's curse. Look at these sticky bombs into the choke. I mean, you just cannot withstand it. Jexa was just caught out for a millisecond. A millisecond So punishing. Chengdu do not want to be dropping this off. Primal Rage committed. Gaga just trying to stay alive. He's being turned into mincemeat right now. Just shredded from afar by Sparkle. The heals come through, so Gaga going to be kept alive. Desperately searching for a pick-off, though. That would make his day, but not going to be able to get it. Does get out with his life, though.
I wonder if Chengdu are going to play aggressively with this grab as well from Elsa. A grab and a duplicate here could win the fight. They've got to take the initiative before Dallas get their ults up. Look at the flank from Jimmy. Great whip shot.
That's a wonderful whip shot. Jimmy pushed back. He still finds the pick onto Doha, though. Finding that one, that's not too bad, though. Jimmy getting traded out, a little bit of long-range hack. Dallas still on the attack. The post bomb is going to get the kill onto Elsa. The bubble just about fades. The mechanics coming up big now. Dallas, they're not going to be able to match the time just yet, but are in a good position to carry this one further forward and at least get this checkpoint now.
Grab, EMP, Dallas Fuel are in position to close this one out quite quickly, actually. Chengdu whiffed their best opportunity.
Grab.
Here we go, there's the EMP.
EMP is going to be clearing all of it. Big Bionade as well, nothing to stop it. Chengdu looking for answers to try and contest this card up. They've got Leave, who's going to be playing the Tracer, and Leave only stays alive for a moment. A Shield Bash pushing them away. Nisha not going to be able to mitigate much damage despite the rally coming out. The pin from Elsa is going to contest this. They have players staying alive in this bubble. They need to clean these up quickly, otherwise it could get disastrous. The longer this fight goes, the worse it is. The sleep. Elsa, 1 HP and a dream. Cart should be moving in. The contest comes in from the back. Gaga is making it work. And look at this, almost build up the Primal Rage as well, Josh. No, he dies just short. 98%, absolutely ridiculous scenes. That could have been a disaster for Dallas Fuel, but they just about capture it, and they get a minute to work with.
They snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat that itself was snatched out of the jaws of victory. They should have won, and then Chengdu almost turned it around. A phenomenal sleep dart up on top from Fielder onto Gaga, but then they can't quite close out the other kills. Gaga still gets to the point, almost got his Primal online, died at like 98%.
He was a second away from clutching that. He was a second away. A Primal would have stalled it out long enough.
Yeah, and already the time bank is at a disadvantage for the Dallas Fuel. They couldn't have afforded too much more time getting ticked away. It looked inevitable that they were going to be able to cap, but Chengdu still secure themselves a minute and 27 seconds advantage. And when we're talking about Gibraltar point A, it's quite a slow point to cap most of the time. So those seconds, those minutes can make all the difference.
Oh, they really can. Yeah. Teams are trying to essentially always fight over the high ground, trying to push each other off of it.
Yeah.
And just that fight alone, before you even get anywhere with the cards, can take up minutes. Like
yeah, can take 2 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
It
takes a long
absolutely.
time.
All right, Chengdu are running the same composition here on defense. Jimmy still on the Widowmaker. He was hitting some nasty shots on the people that were trying to shut him down. Sparkle, Doha, on the Sombra, on the Tracer, will get their heads ripped clean off. He's got to be doing stuff like that again if they want to hold the Dallas Fuel at checkpoint A.
Might stop them short. Dallas moving over to the comp that they had in the previous attack. And they've got to take this with a little bit more pace. You can see they're not wasting any time. The high ground is being approached straight away. Fearless with the Bionade on him. He needs to back off and get heals immediately. It fades off, so he is going to get healed up. This is good for Fielder building up the nano boost, but 30 seconds already burnt off the clock. The bubble comes up, the sticky bombs on the Fearless. He is being destroyed. The damage boost of the beam, Leave. That's way too much damage to overcome. Now you can see Leave trying to still put in that damage to beat down the damage boost on top of it. Way too much. Still, Elsa traded out, so this card, they're going to have a bit of pressure onto it while Chengdu, they realize, okay, maybe we can't hold this now that we've lost Elsa. Overtime will start to tick, though.
Leave's Echo has been phenomenal for them so far. A good duplicate here could make all the difference. Copying Fearless, maybe even going for the YOLO copy on Doha and getting an EMP up. The options are pretty limitless here.
Leave, yeah, he's going to opt to use this duplicate now onto the Winston. They want to close this just short. Yeah, he did bump his head onto the car wash section here, but look at that EMP, connects onto 5. Is there any follow-up now for Dallas? Elsa going down, but Jimmy wants to try and clutch this one up. Sparkle using the recall. He's got to stay into this fight, has the pulse bomb, looking for the right opportunity, lays it against the wall. Jimmy's still alive. In fact, he's grappled up to the high ground. Gonna get the res off now onto Elsa just to keep this one going, but a great sleep down onto Gaga. But again, no one is dealing with Jimmy. He stayed alive this entire time, and now he's brought destruction to the battlefield. Still Dallas pushing this one in, using the bubble for cover, but Chengdu are still finding options to try and win this one out. Fielder caught out of position. Jimmy, I remind you, is still alive and just collects the kill onto Jexer as well. 1 HP in a dream. Fearless, he's got way too much on his plate to try and manage this, but Dallas is still trying anyway.
They're going after the Mercy. They need to take heals out of the equation, but Fearless has his heals ripped away from him as well. Jimmy's back, the unkillable Widowmaker for Chengdu.
It's a futile effort. I feel so bad for the Dallas Fuel. Trying to put an end to Jimmy, but every time he just grapples away in the right place at the right time. I mean, you got to give credit to Jimmy there, I think, as well as the support line of Chengdu, but stopping them just shy. Holy moly. Yeah, Dallas, they would have loved, I'm telling you, to capture that one and keep that one going just an ever so slight more. But if there's anything I've learned from Gibraltar first, it's that, you know, it's even when you get the hold there, it's still not won just yet, even with the 2.5 minutes that Chengdu have. It's a very winnable scenario right now for Dallas to close this series out.
It certainly is, and that's what they're loving here. If this goes 5 maps and it comes down to a control, even if they get to pick, you know, even if Dallas Fuel get to pick the control map, it's still anybody's game. They need to close this out right here, the Dallas Fuel, to secure their place in the upper bracket and move on to face the Shanghai Dragons. That's the matchup that they're looking forward to, but they've got business to tend to right here.
And if there was ever a team, I think, to do it, it would be Dallas, I think, with this comp that they're running as well. The rotation of the ults is something that's so key. We point it out all the time. We don't really explain it too much in detail, but the Primal Rage, the Nano Boost, the EMP, using it like in cycles of one another to build the next one is super important with this composition. And Dallas have been so good with it, time and time again. If they can get this first team fight win on the board, it's looking doable for them.
And remember what happened last time? Fearless dove in incredibly deep and ended up getting punished by Leave. This time Bionade is absolutely fat from Monk.
Oh my goodness, that has set them up beautifully. And the pincer maneuver here from Chengdu.
That's it.
They want to be taking it to the 5th map. And they're going to be pushing this card even further deep. Yep. Go ahead.
That feels like it, Brent. It's 1 minute and 50 seconds left, and the Dallas Fuel, as much as they're going to try and stall things out here, they don't really have any of their ults online. They're nowhere near them. And Chengdu now have control over all of the best positions. That's a nice whip shot, actually, from Jexer to deny a bit of blue box control, but Elsa's straight back up there.
Testing onto the corner, the aggressive approach. Look at that, the neutral hack, I believe, onto Jimmy. It meant he couldn't roll out, couldn't get out of it. Big Bionade follow-up as well. Dallas realized, okay, we need to play aggressive. We need to catch them off guard. Don't let them build up these ultimates. Now, the res does get off here for Gaga. They don't deny it. Gaga's going to be holding a bit of forward positioning, but Dallas are in a prime position now to hold on to this one. 1 minute left for Chengdu. Ultimates are starting to come online.
How could I doubt the Dallas Fuel? Those aggressive engagements are so good. Nano Boost onto Fearless as well, and they take down Monk immediately. What do Chengdu have to counter? A sleeping Winston?
Yeah, Gaga has to use his primer now. He's trying to clutch this one up. Might be able to get a kill in the corner. He does. Fearless, or Fielder, I should say, will fall. Spark with a pulse bomb. What? Holy moly. I mean, this guy, he's just making it work for him. That was style points. Eventually brought down by Leaf with a quick bonk to the back of the head. And Leaf's going to get that D-mech as well. Hanman realizes, I got to use the self-destruct. He has to get back into the mech here. But 30 seconds left now, and Chengdu are looking for openings.
They need to get Jimmy in a good position. They need to avoid the EMP. It's so hard. If they can get their tank line EMP'd and then use a Nano Boost to save them, maybe that's the best case scenario. But Dallas are looking for something fast and aggressive off the back of Doha's EMP here. Could be devastating. Gaga's already dead from the EMP!
The EMP is massive. It can't assault to so many targets. The Dallas Fuel! It's a clean wipe. I don't believe it. They know their win cons. They can see it. And this map here, Gibraltar, we were doubting them, but eventually they pull it out, they whittle down the time bank, and they take away the series. 3-1, they will be moving forwards here in the main melee, knocking Chengdu down to the lower bracket.
Amazing stuff there from the Dallas Fuel, and they continue this winning streak that has been so good for them. Yeah, they lost the map win streak, sure, But overall, what a phenomenal series from Dallas. Just clutching it out in these final moments before it got too sticky. You can see the relief on these guys' faces as well as we just swapped back over to the face cams. We now, Bren, have an NA team and an APAC team in the upper bracket. One region is not just default the best here in the main melee. It's a real mixture of styles, comps, and who ends up being on top.
Yeah, it's what we were hoping for. It really is. I think the best case scenario was that the regions would be competitive, and it has been so fun to witness so far, and it's early days yet. I mean, the rest of the tournament's still going to be occurring tomorrow and on Saturday, of course, with the conclusion. But yeah, obviously no one getting eliminated just yet, purely moving forwards and then splitting it down into the lower bracket with this one. What a showcase from the Dallas Fuel. I mean, we were really doubting it to a degree as well. It looks like Chengdu just had everything in control. It felt like the reverse sweep was almost destined, but Dallas Fuel far too strong.
Yeah, far too strong. They've beaten the best in, well, they've beaten some of the best in North America in the San Francisco Shock and the Houston Outlaws. And now they've come up with the win over the Chengdu Hunters, who a lot of people were saying were the best in APAC as well. And yeah, what a performance.
Let's take a look at our player of the match presented by Xfinity, and we're going to hand it this time to Doha. I think there's no more deserving player than Doha, I think, in terms of their impact in a game. Potentially one of the best Sombras in the world in terms of their impact.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
The ability to find the right place at the right time, the right neutral hack as well at times to just get value. And of course the team playing around it was honestly just key over the course of this series. So important.
It totally was. I mean, the ZMPs were fantastic, but also what impresses me is when he moves over to the Echo, because that kind of style where they play Doha on that pick just facilitates so much depth to what they can really pull out. I mean, Fearless also played fantastic in this series. He was another great candidate that we were considering, but I feel like Doha really in this series was performing better than even he has been in the most recent showings, and he's already been excellent. He really is one of the elite Sombras that we have in the league.
Yeah, you can see there from the EMP efficiency as well, the 3.6. The guy just puts up ridiculous numbers, and yeah, going to be sailing it forwards into the main melee. Dallas Fuel in that upper bracket, going to be looking for opportunities now, looking forward to their next match as well.
Yeah,
that's going to be occurring as well. Probably doing a lot of prep work as well.
That one is just absolutely nuts as well. We just gave player of the match over to Doha. He's going to be facing off against what a lot of people would call the best Sombra in the league, Lip. You've got Lip against Doha going into that upper bracket with both teams playing off meta. At this point, Brent, the big takeaway from me in the main melee so far is that playing away from the meta is actually better than playing the meta itself. Defining your own style and countering your opponents and throwing curveballs at them so that they're forced to react to you, that is what's actually getting teams wins right now.
Yeah, the adaptation that we're seeing from a lot of the teams is catching them off a little bit as well. And I'm really curious to see. I mean, will we see a meta develop? Will teams just keep carrying on the performance? I'm not too sure. But I'll tell you who does know. It's going to be the Watchpoint crew. So we're going to go to a short break. On the other side of things, of course, the post-show is going to be breaking it all down and explaining some of the chaos and pandemonium that we've witnessed today. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with even more Overwatch League action. See you then.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to the Watchpoint Post Show presented by IBM. We're joined here now by Jaxay from Dallas Fuel. 잭슨 선수 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. Hello everyone.
Nice. Do you want to do this in English? 이거 한국말 할까요? 영어로 할까요?
한국어로.
Okay?
한국어로.
Okay.
네.
Alright, Jackson says okay, and then he goes, yeah, let's just do it in Korean. Let's just do it in Korean. Alright, then yeah, I'll translate for you. Just yeah, whatever you want to say, I'll translate for you. So just feel free to talk, okay? Alright.
Okay.
First question, Dallas Fuel and Chengdu Hunters. You guys are both like teams which play more sort of unconventional styles and comps. Was it hard for you to prepare a game plan against the Chengdu Hunters because they play some wonky comps and they have some unusual play styles? 첫 번째 질문은 달라스도 그렇고 어떻게 봤을 때는 특별히 청두팀도 어떻게 보면 좀 일반적이지 않은 조합이랑 좀 그런 플레이 스타일을 많이 추구하는데 그것 때문에 오늘 경기 들어오면서 조금 더 힘들었다거나 좀 이런 건 없었나요?
일단 힘든 거는 준비하면서 힘든 건 딱히 없었던 것 같고 그냥 청두가 조금 특이한 스타일이니까 그거에 맞게 준비하면서 저희가 어떻게 할지, 저희 스스로 어떻게 플레이할지 더 집중했던 것 같아요.
Alright, as for, I don't think there was anything that was too difficult, but I do know that, because Chengdu Hunters do have a unique style, we sort of had that in mind. And also, instead of focusing on their style, what we did come into the match was focused on our play styles and what we had to do in order for us to clutch the win. All right, my next question for you, Jaxay, is, with today's win, you guys will be facing off against Fearless's former team, Shanghai Dragons, tomorrow. What's your game plan going into that match tomorrow? 일단 이제 오늘의 승리로 이제 내 상하이 드래곤즈 어떻게 보면 이제 Fearless 선수의 예전 팀이었던 상하이 팀과 이제 만나게 되실 텐데 그거에 대해서 좀 어떻게 생각을 하시는지 좀 어떤 준비를 하고 계신지 궁금하네요.
상하이가 잘하기 때문에 저희 스스로 물론 저희 스스로 최선을 다해야 할 것 같고 오늘 나왔던 실수들 제 개인적인 부분이나 팀적인 부분 실수들 최대한 빠르게 고쳐와야 할 것 같습니다.
Right, so for a match against Shanghai Dragons tomorrow, I do know that Shanghai Dragons are a really strong team. They're really good. So we're just going to try our best. And of course, we made a couple of mistakes here and there in today's match. So I think the best way for us to prepare for tomorrow's match against the Shanghai Dragons would be to sort of go over our mistakes and try not to make the same mistakes that we made today for our match tomorrow. Okay, let me ask you one more thing. So against tomorrow's, you're going to go against Shanghai Dragons tomorrow. Did you see any weaknesses or did you actually see the match that Shanghai played today? 오늘 상하이 팀 경기를 보면서 좀 이렇게 좀 약점이나 좀 이런 걸 본 거는 없나요?
딱히 본 게 없는 것 같아요. 왜냐면은 저희 스스로 할 거 준비하느라 딱히 상하이 경기를 안 봐서 잘 모르겠습니다.
Okay, unfortunately, I actually didn't have time to really watch the Shanghai Dragons. We were too busy sort of prepping our own matches and prepping our own plans. So yeah, I don't think I saw any weaknesses or any of Shanghai Dragons for that matter. All right, Jaxay, thank you so much for the interview. Thank you and congratulations on your win. Good luck tomorrow and we'll see you tomorrow, like I said. 오늘 인터뷰해 주셔서 너무 감사드리고요. 내일 뵙도록 하겠습니다, 잭슨 선수.
네, 감사합니다. See you tomorrow.
All right, let's head back to the desk, everybody.
Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you so much, Jackson. Congratulations, of course, to the entirety of the Dallas Fuel. Jackson, I love that guy. What a goat.
He's so cute.
He is.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. Actually, he kind of knows. I officially adopted him. I don't think he agreed to it, but it's happening.
No, he said thank
anyway,
you.
I guess that means a yes. Either way, enough of my personal life. Let's talk about the matches, because our first one was, well, that was a match, right? And the Dragons came out victorious 3-2, and they moved on to the next round in the winners bracket. And Dallas Fuel did the same thing just now, and it was still a nail biter though. I think this one still went the distance. And I mean, Leaf came alive at the very end there. Jimmy came alive on Gibraltar. Gibraltar being I think a map pick which made a lot of people scratch their heads. Like, I don't think the majority of people would have expected them to take the Chengdu Hunters to Gibraltar, and we did see why that may have potentially gone wrong as well. But what gave them the edge in the end here?
I actually don't dislike the Gibraltar pick as much as Sideshow was saying. I think it makes sense, especially after you go into Blizzard World and this double shield Hangzhou composition really stopped them in their tracks. Like, Dallas Fuel was so dominant in this series up until that Blizzard World, and then Chengdu came out with this very unique style of double shield Hangzhou, kind of like slow the game down, and Dallas just couldn't find their tempo against it, right? So I actually like that they go to Gibraltar, a map that they're very comfortable on, and go head-to-head in the dive style against the Chengdu Hunters, because if they end up on Havana, they can lose to the same thing they just lost to on Blizzard World. So I actually really like the change by Dallas, but yeah, it was that Gibraltar was one of the dichotomy of, you know, the first series that we had and that Gibraltar to this Gibraltar. It was incredible. Pop-off moments from everybody, and I do want to say, Jimmy, I'm sorry, I doubted you. It'll never happen again. I bow down to you. He played so well and just did such a great job.
Yeah, definitely a standout map for Jimmy. But I want to go back to the point that you pointed out as well. With Dallas Fuel being so comfortable playing the dive and taking Chengdu Hunters to Gibraltar, because this is a thing that Dallas Fuel have done in the past as well. I've said multiple times that Dallas Fuel, if they wanted to, they're good enough on Reinhardt compositions that they can beat other teams just going to Reinhardt maps, playing Reinhardt, because it's solid, it works for them. But as we've seen in the past, and they did it now again, when they can play Fearless on that Winston and just play the dive, they will do that because that's their comfort zone. That's what they really shine in, and they're really confident at it. So that's part of what makes it so difficult to play the Dallas Fuel, because you never really know what you're going to get from the Dallas Fuel, because they've shown now they can play like 2-3 different types of compositions on different maps, and they just kind of go with it, they go with the flow, and they're confident in that kind of skill set. So very hard to prepare for the Dallas Fuel. They're very versatile, and overall they just make sure always that they're in the comfort zone. It's so rare to really put Dallas Fuel in a position where they're uncomfortable, because they're so open to just flexing their composition no matter the map, really.
Yeah, they're like a box of chocolates, right? No?
Exactly.
No?
Sure, except I guess because they don't have a McCree, they're missing like the white chocolate, and they just make it up.
Yeah, but you never know what you're gonna get. Movie references. All right, there is somewhere out in the back in our production, Hex is sitting there and he's nodding. He's nodding at me. He felt that one.
Yeah.
Doing your work here, Hex. Now let's talk about the first match of the day, which was, you know, it was a match. It was certainly entertaining. It had a lot of moments, highs and lows in equal parts, I would say. And yeah, the Dragons actually took that one home in the end. But what did you like? What did you not like? What did both of those teams need to clean up for their matches tomorrow?
It was a six map banger, and that's what was so nice about it. And we got to see so many different looks from both of these teams. Obviously, we saw the weaknesses from the Shanghai Dragons. I think they should try avoid playing this brawl style with the Reinhardt like we saw on King's Row. But I think they look very good in other situations when they can get Fate. They played a lot of this Fate Wrecking Ball Izayaki Zen and made it work very well, but I also like that they were willing to go towards this Winston Anna style as well. So for Shanghai, I think